Matt, why is it so important for you to be back at the site of your victory?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just good to, bring the good vibes back. And it's nice to be back for a couple days and, kind of rest and just hang out. And played the course yesterday. It was a little firmer with some wind. So, played a little bit challenging, but still very comfortable to kind of be back and hit all those shots. So, yeah, it's just really cool to be back. It's the first time I've been back since, that week. So just good vibes heading into next week and kind of cool to be at the place that the reason that I'm going to Augusta, to be back full circles, kind of cool.
Well, the good vibes covers the mental preparation part for Augusta National. What does the game preparation look like for you now, Matt?
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it'll I've been playing a lot of golf lately, so kind of taking this week a little easy and, saving some energy for when I get out there and do all that work around the greens at Augusta next week. I don't think you can really replicate that place too easily anywhere else. So, but yeah, just kind of rest up, played a lot of golf already this year and, game's been feeling good for the last month. So kind of just, recharge a little bit going into next week and, conserve some of that energy to kind of learn that place when I'm out there.
And when you say learn that place, I'm assuming you haven't been to Augusta before, or is this going to be a first experience?
I took my scouting trip the week before the Players. So, spent 4 days there, which was awesome. And kind of to get, that whole experience out of the way, I think will be good leading into the week. But I feel like I've never played a course 4 times before and felt like I still have a lot to learn. So that place is unique in that way for sure. So definitely going to utilize, all the practice round days next week. But excited to, be out there and the opportunity to play, obviously. And I felt like, growing up watching that event so much on TV is kind of one of the only places I've ever played where I felt like I knew it before I kind of stepped on property. So I was pleased with, kind of the shots I was able to hit and, places that I was after, kind of the same as all the guys that I grew up watching. So I was very pleased with how, my game kind of fit that place.
Matt, a lot of rookies will seek out a veteran who's been there for a long time for their first practice rounds just to be able to pick their brains as they begin the week. Have you reached out to anyone, or do you have plans to play with anyone in particular as you get ready for the tournament?
Yeah, I mean, I played last weekend, both Saturday and Sunday with Jason Day. So when we were kind of finishing up our round on Sunday, I asked him if I, could join him around that place and kind of get some of his wisdom. But I was kind of picking his brain out there on the weekend too, just asking some questions. So I'll definitely, I utilize as much advice from the older guys, but Jason was awesome. And, hopefully he'll let me join him in a few days.
Matt, what you did last summer was incredible. And I got a stat for you. It's just Scotty Scheffler, Rory McIlroy, you, who had 4+ wins worldwide, spanning multiple tours. You were outside the top 300 going into last June. You win 3 times in the Korn Ferry Tour, then get the win at the Black Desert Championship. That jumped you at the time inside the top 50 in the world. You just don't see guys do that. What ignited that run?
I mean, very simply, like losing a 3-shot lead in Denver the week before the first win. But I think just, a lot of things and a lot of growth over the last 2-3 years with my game, and kind of for it to culminate in that way, just, kind of on a landslide of some really good golf for a few months. But, I feel like even though the results haven't been there kind of early this year, the last kind of month and where my game's at, I feel really good. And I think it's just one of those things. I've always been able to kind of improve at this game. I've gotten better every year since I was, 12 years old. So I think that's just been the goal for me, and whatever that can kind of culminate in, and just be the best I can be. And for it to culminate, kind of in that, 3-4 month stretch at the end of the year last year was pretty awesome. So,
Matt, we always get blown away when we hear about speed gains and distance gains. Bryson DeChambeau grabbed all these headlines a few years back, but then it was Matt Fitzpatrick who was under the radar, who added length, and then he won a major with the U.S. Open. You went from averaging 290 off the tee in 2022 to 302 last year on the Korn Ferry Tour. It's never easy to add 12 yards off the tee. What did you do day to day over those past couple years to mold you in the player that you are now?
Yeah, I mean, I think just a lot more focus in the gym and honestly on recovery as well. I think when you're playing, 25, 26 events a year and to be as fast the next week as you were the week before, it's as much about recovery. So just kind of learning a lot about my body and understanding a little bit more was very helpful, but then also to spend the time and actually work at it. And I was always kind of a late bloomer, I guess, growing up. So, it took me a while to add some pounds and gain some speed. But I was actually, when Fitzpatrick won the US Open in 22, I was there. That was a pretty long course for me at that moment. And I saw him using the SAC system, which, was developed by some of the guys at Ping too. So reached out to them and got my hands on one of those. So that's kind of, my speed training tool. But I would say for the most part, it's kind of been done in the gym for sure.
Matt, you mentioned you've been playing some quality golf. You've made 5 straight cuts, a couple of top 20s after a little rockier start to the season. Do you feel as though you're still finding your feet out there? Because when you win in your 3rd start, you're kind of thrown in at the deep end. You haven't really had a lot of time to kind of find your equilibrium on how to go about your business on a week-to-week basis.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like I've already learned a lot in the last few months. And I think it is a lot out here, kind of learning most of these courses for the first time. I mean, out of the 2 courses I knew the most, TPC Scottsdale, I just didn't play well that week. But TPC Sawgrass, my girlfriend's family lives there. So I've played that place a lot and, kind of finished T20 that week, but felt very comfortable with the golf course going into it and, gotten some extra days at Augusta. So hopefully that'll bode me well for next week too. But I think I've learned a lot the next 2 months. And I think very often your first full season on tour, you're not in all the majors. So I've been trying to pick these guys' brains of kind of how they go about their schedules and trying to learn a lot about, planning my, season around these 3 or 4 events. So, really excited for that and feel good kind of going into the beginning of the major season for me. So it'll be awesome.
We'll play well next week and enjoy the walk at Augusta, Matt.
Yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.